Hey y'all, this is Alex with Kick Therapy. Our goal is to reach black men by telling stories of healing through sneaker reviews. I'm glad you guys are here. I decided to do this review at my elementary school just to give you a history of who I am, but before we jump into all that, let's get into these Vejas. This is the Veja Esplar. Veja is a French footwear and accessory brand that focuses on making shoes out of ecological materials, using wild rubber from the Amazon, organic cotton, veg tan leather. If this is what you're into, this is definitely a brand to look at. The way I review, I'm looking for quality, comfort, and functionality. So let's start with quality and jump into these materials. The quality is great for the $120 retail. I found it for $62 a couple months back, but with international shipping, it still ran me about $90. Still under retail and it's still a good price. I was looking for it to be extremely stiff, but I was very surprised by its mobility. Now, it wasn't as supple as tumble leather, but it didn't have those 10 wear break-in periods where you got blisters all over your feet. Now, you're gonna have to break it in maybe 2 or 3 wears, but your feet aren't gonna be extremely uncomfortable and hurting. Which leads me right to comfort. Now, I might be cheating a little bit. I wear orthotics in all of my shoes. But look, man, I'm flat-footed. You see my ankles. I'm over 200 pounds. I need extra support. I thought it was gonna be a really rough ride with the rubber outsole, but it wasn't. The only way I can describe it is that it cut my foot and it made me feel safe. I love how clean the silhouette and colorway are. You see the off-white midsole with the white upper, rubber Veja V and the heel cap all in Bordeaux. It's just super clean. Also, the outsole curves up a little bit in the front, so it makes the stride a little bit more natural. Now, the tongue is a little thin. It kind of folds into my ankle a little bit. I can attribute that to having larger ankles, but it is kind of flimsy. The Veja V on the sides have a little shine to it because it's a rubber. It's not a crazy Jordan 11 patent leather situation, but it has a little shine. Overall, they're a great lifestyle shoe. If you're looking for something clean to throw on with some chinos or dress pant or something like that, even some shorts, has a little bit of flair and not everybody's wearing it, try Veja. Now, it's really fitting to have my elementary school at the start of the series, because this is where I first encountered the mental health system. This is where I learned that I simply learned differently than other kids. I was disruptive, disinterested in my schoolwork, easily distracted, and like every other kid in the mid-90s that had those same symptoms or behaviors, I was diagnosed with ADD. My mom took me everywhere to try to find help. Neurologists, counselors, other specialists, and during that time I took every medication, Ritalin, Strattera, Adderall. But nothing was really fixed. They just saw a perceived learning disability and behavioral issues. You know what's funny? Seeing all of those counselors and talking to all of those specialists, no one asked me how my home life was. No one asked me if I'd ever been touched inappropriately. No one asked me if I felt emotionally safe with my family. No one put together that my parents yelling at each other last night had a direct correlation with me yelling at my teacher the next morning. They just saw a perceived learning disability and behavioral issues that needed to be sedated. I eventually dropped out in 9th grade, giving up on the system altogether and trying my hand at entrepreneurship. Guess what I was selling? Sneakers. So what's the bookend? What's the moral of the story? It took a lot of prayer, studying, and personal growth on my own, but I finally hit a wall where I couldn't do it by myself anymore. So I decided to go to therapy to continue my healing. No matter what anybody else did, my healing and growth, it belongs to me. If my relationship suffers, it's on me. If I don't trust people's intention, that's on me. And I refuse to continue those patterns. I'm gonna do something about it. You can make that decision too. But before you go, look at these shoes. Thank you for listening to this week's episode. Please download our app and subscribe to us on YouTube.
Our YouTube page is called My Black Therapy TV. You can also find us on Facebook under My Black Therapy LLC and our Instagram, which is @official My Black Therapy.
You can also support us on Patreon just by searching My Black Therapy.
Or going to patreon.com/My Black Therapy.